Slide system work ಆಗ್ತದೆ 40 correct. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Today we'll try to know about the chemistry of lipids in nutshell, or overview of the chemistry of lipids. We'll study lipids under these headings: definition, functions, classification, based on chemical nature, how they are classified, that is modified Blue's classification, that is simple lipids, complex lipids or compound lipids, and derived lipids. Coming to the simple lipids, these are esters of fatty acids with glycerol or other higher alcohols. Means fatty acid in combination with alcohol. Here we have fats and oils and waxes. Fats and oils and waxes. Coming to the simple lipids, fats and oils, these are mainly triacylglycerides or triacylglycerol. These are esters of fatty acids with alcohol glycerol. Here in the right side you can see the structure of the triglyceride. Extreme right side we have fatty acid side chains and glycerol. This is the structure of the triglyceride or triacylglycerol. Uncharged, they are termed as neutral fats or oils. Next is complex lipids or compound lipids. These are esters of fatty acids with alcohol containing additional prosthetic group. It may be phosphate, it may be carbohydrate, or it may be protein. Fatty acid plus alcohol plus additional group is going to make complex lipids or compound lipids. The alcohol may be glycerol or sphingosine usually. Next we have under complex lipids, phospholipids, glycolipids. Under this we have cerebrosides, globosides and gangliosides, and lipoproteins. Coming to the derived lipids, products, these are the products obtained after the hydrolysis of simple and compound lipids, or these are precursors of lipids. Example, fatty acids, glycerol, steroids, cholesterol, prostaglandins, leukotrienes, terpenes, dolichols, vitamin A, D. These are the derived lipids. Coming to the fatty acids, these are carboxylic acid with hydrocarbon chain. The hydrocarbon chain length may varies from 2 to 36 carbon atoms. Accounts for the non-polar nature of the fatty acids. This hydrocarbon chain, it accounts for the non-polar nature of the fatty acids. Already we know how to label the fatty acids. The carbon atoms are labeled from carboxylate, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. From methyl side we label them as omega 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. They are amphipathic in nature, means hydrophobic hydrocarbon chain and hydrophilic carboxyl chain. Isomerism of double bond of fatty acid, it helps in the formation of cis and trans form. Cis forms are naturally occurring fatty acids. Here double bonds are present in fatty acids, especially these are naturally occurring and in humans. And coming to the trans fatty acids, they are formed by catalytic hydrogenation of the oils. In excess, they act as poisonous. In excess, they act as poisonous. Classification of fatty acids. So many classifications are there. Free fatty acids versus esterified fatty acids. Even versus odd number of carbon atom fatty acids based on length of hydrocarbon chain. Straight chain versus branch chain fatty acids. Saturated versus unsaturated fatty acids. Essential versus non-essential fatty acids. Coming to the classification of fatty acids further, straight chain fatty acids. Here we have saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids. Example for saturated fatty acid, we have palmitic acid. For unsaturated fatty acid, we have linoleic acid, which helps in the synthesis of arachidonic acid. And we have branch chain fatty acids, substituted fatty acids, and cyclic fatty acids. And coming to the unsaturated fatty acids, we have monoenoic fatty acids. For example, we have oleic acid. It contains 80 number of carbon atoms. It has got double bond between 9th and 10th carbon atom. 9th and 10th carbon atom. Next, pass on to the polyenoic acid or polyunsaturated fatty acid. Two or more double bonds will be present. Two or more double bonds will be present. Dienoic acid, we have example linoleic acid. It has got two double bonds. Trienoic acid, that is example is linolenic acid. It has got three double bonds. Tetraenoic acid, it has got four double bonds. The example is arachidonic acid. Coming to the essential fatty acids, the fatty acids that cannot be synthesized in the body and that has to be supplied through the diet are known as essential fatty acids. Usually they are polyunsaturated fatty acids. The examples are linoleic acid, linolenic acid and arachidonic acid. Here linolenic and linoleic are essential fatty acid. Arachidonic acid, it is essential, but it can be synthesized from linoleic acid, and at the same time linolenic acid helps in the synthesis of docosahexaenoic acid. Already we have told it is essential for the development of the retina and brain, testes and sperms. Coming to the functions of essential fatty acids, they are structural component of the biological membrane, and in turn they help in the maintaining the permeability of the cell membrane, concentrated source of energy, and transport and utilization of cholesterol. These prevent accumulation of fat in the liver required for the synthesis of eicosanoids, that is the basically linoleic acid. Maintain proper growth and development. Consumption of essential fatty acids lowers the cardiovascular disease risk. Cardiovascular disease risk. And coming to the clinical significance, whenever there is deficiency of the essential fatty acids, it leads to a condition, clinical condition known as phrenoderma or Todd skin. Usually this is seen in case of infants on formula diet and IV nutrition. It is characterized by presence of horny eruptions on the posterior lateral part of limbs, back and buttocks. And also we can see the loss of hair and poor wound healing. This is regarding the phrenoderma. The essential fatty acid deficiency causes phrenoderma. And coming to the eicosanoids, these are 20 carbon compounds. The Greek terminology eicoside tells it is 20 derived from polyunsaturated essential fatty acid, arachidonic acid, that is released from the cell membrane phospholipids. Cell membrane phospholipids. They act as local hormones. Eicosanoids, they act as local hormones and they are classified as cyclooxygenase, closed ring structures. Here we have prostanoids. Under prostanoids we have prostaglandins, prostacyclins and thromboxanes. And lipoxygenase means open ring structure. Here we have leukotrienes and lipoxins. Eicosanoids have roles in inflammation and fever. They are natural mediators. They are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Means they are anti-inflammatory in nature. They help in the regulation of the blood pressure by vasodilation. So they are used in the treatment of hypertension. They have got important role in platelet aggregation, which further helps the process of blood clotting. These eicosanoids helps in the immune modulation system. They decrease the gastric acid secretion. That is the reason eicosanoids they are used in the case of the treatment of gastric ulcer. And coming to the role of eicosanoids in reproductive processes and tissue growth, they help in induction of the labor, medical termination of the pregnancy and arresting postpartum hemorrhage. Immediately after delivery, in some cases, there will be excessive bleeding. These eicosanoids can be used to stop the bleeding, that is postpartum hemorrhage. Eicosanoids have a role in sleep and wake cycle. So that is the reason they help in regulation of sleep and wake cycle. And coming to the metabolism, they increases glycogenesis and they decrease lipolysis. They act as bronchodilators and bronchoconstrictors. Prostaglandin E helps in the treatment of bronchial asthma, and prostaglandin E increases glomerular filtration rate and urinary output. Coming to the triacylglycerols, these are esters of fatty acid with glycerol. They are neutral in nature, non-polar, hydrophobic in nature. Simple triacylglycerol, they have same fatty acids. Example is tripalmitin. And mixed triacylglycerol, they have different types of fatty acids. Triacylglycerol, they act as energy source, and these triacylglycerol basically they are stored in the adipose tissue. Whenever the energy is required, there will be release of energy from the adipose tissue. And coming to the properties of triacylglycerol, we already discussed hydrogenation, rancidity. It may be hydrolytic or oxidative rancidity, and under this we have lipid peroxidation, which you will come across under the topic free radicals. This lipid peroxidation will be discussed in detail in free radicals. There are certain tests to check the purity of fat and oils, that is saponification number, iodine number, Richard-Missel number. These are the tests to detect the purity of the fats and oils. And coming to the phospholipids, these are combination of fatty acids, alcohol, phosphoric acid and additional group. Here usually the alcohol may be glycerol or sphingosine. In addition to fatty acids, alcohol and phosphoric acid, there will be one more additional group. We have glycerophospholipids and sphingospholipids. In the right side picture, you can see the polar region and the tail end non-polar region. And coming to the classification of phospholipids, under we have phospholipids, glycerophospholipids, those who are nitrogen containing. Example, we have lecithin, it is phosphatidylcholine, cephalin, phosphatidylethanolamine, phosphatidylserine, ether lipids like plasma halogen, and platelet aggregating factor. Non-nitrogen containing phospholipids, we have phosphatidylinositol, phosphatidylglycerol, and diphosphatidylglycerol, that is cardiolipin. And sphingospholipids, we have sphingomyelin, which is an amino alcohol. And coming to the next, glycerophospholipids, they are the most abundant lipids in cell membranes, composed of glycerol, two fatty acids, phosphate group and amino alcohol, that is sphingosine. Coming to the sphingospholipids, sphingomyelin, it contains alcohol sphingosine, is attached by amide linkage to fatty acid to produce ceramide, present in myelin sheath of the nerve. Present in the myelin sheaths of the nerves. Coming to the functions of phospholipids, they are essential component of the cell membranes. Indirectly, they help in the regulation of cell membrane permeability, required for the absorption of lipids, required for formation of lipoproteins, which in turn helps in the transport of lipids across the blood and various organs of the body. Coming to the functions of phospholipids further, lecithin, choline storage, it acts as a choline storage depot, which further helps in transmethylation reactions, acetylcholine, lipotropic factors, and surfactant. Cephalin is phosphatidylethanolamine, helps in blood coagulation. Once again, phosphatidylserine, it is a composition of the cell membrane, and plasmalogens are mainly present in brain and muscles, which further helps in cholesterol efflux, membrane fusion. They act as antioxidants. They help in the ion transport. Platelet aggregating factors. They stimulate the platelet aggregation, and also they have mechanism in serotonin release. Phosphatidylinositol, it acts as second messenger, means they act as mediator of the hormone action. The moment hormone binds to the receptor, from there the information is carried through the second messenger to the further, so that the mechanism of particular hormone action is carried forward. Diphosphatidyl that is cardiolipin, has got main role in electron transport chain, and already we know sphingomyelin, it is mainly present in myelin C, helps in the nerve impulse transmission, so helps in the nerve impulse transmission. Coming to the glycolipids and glycosphingolipids, it is a combination of fatty acids, alcohol, and carbohydrate. Fatty acids plus alcohol, sphingosine, it forms ceramide. Under this glycolipids or glycosphingolipids, we have cerebrosides, globosides, and gangliosides. Here you can see sphingosine, hydrocarbon chain, fatty acids, and carbohydrate. Glycolipids, they are combination of ceramides and carbohydrate. Coming to the cerebrosides, these are combination of ceramide and monosaccharides. Depending on the monosaccharide, they are subclassified into glucocerebroside. It is not non-neural, and galactocerebroside, where the monosaccharide unit is galactose. They are present in neural tissues and white matter of the brain. Coming to the globosides, it is a combination of ceramide plus more than 2 hexoses or hexosamines. Example is lactosyl ceramide. It is a component of the red cell membrane. And next one is gangliosides. They are combination of ceramide plus oligosaccharides plus N-acetyl acid. Example here is ganglioside M3 or GM3. It is mainly present in myelinated nerve fibers. And coming to the sulfolipids or sulfatides, we have sulfated glycolipids, sulfated cerebrosides, sulfated globosides, and sulfated gangliosides. And coming to the lipoproteins, it is a conjugated protein formed by the combination of lipid and prosthetic group protein. These lipoproteins basically they help in the transport of lipids. Under lipoproteins we have chylomicrons, very low density lipoprotein, intermediate density lipoprotein, low density lipoprotein and high density lipoprotein. Right side you can see the picture of lipoprotein and its composition. Here in low density lipoprotein, it is called as bad cholesterol, whereas high density lipoprotein is called as good cholesterol. Because low density lipoproteins, it contains lipoprotein small a, that is apoprotein A, which is atherogenic. So low density lipoprotein, if it is present in excess concentration, it promotes the activity of atherosclerosis. Whereas high density lipoprotein, it is anti-atherogenic. Anti-atherogenic means whatever the cholesterol in the systemic circulation, it is brought to the liver. It is brought to the liver, means it acts as a scavenger. High density lipoprotein acts as a scavenger and decreases the cholesterol level in the blood. Cholesterol level in the blood. Here you can appreciate the lipoproteins. We have apoprotein, polar surface coat, phospholipids, unesterified cholesterol, apoprotein. This side you can appreciate right triglyceride, cholesterol ester, non-polar lipid core, non-polar lipid core. Lipoprotein types. We have chylomicrons, VLDL, IDL, LDL and HDL. Chylomicron and its remnant, the size is 1000 nanometer, whereas very low density lipoprotein, it is 70 nanometer on an average. Intermediary density lipoprotein, it is 40 nanometer in length. Low density lipoprotein, it is 20 nanometer in length, whereas good cholesterol, that is HDL cholesterol, it is 10 nanometer. 10 nanometer. So VLDL, intermediary density lipoprotein and low density lipoprotein, collectively they are called as non-HDL cholesterol or non-HDL lipoproteins, and HDL proper, it is called as good cholesterol. So in some researchers, they have analyzed the non-HDL cholesterol level in the body. They have studied. This is coming to the density, class and diameter, the percentage of protein, cholesterol, phospholipids and triacylglycerols. In HDL you can see the protein concentration is more. That is the reason it is called as good cholesterol. LDL we have 25. So the different lipoproteins have different percentage of protein, cholesterol, phospholipids and triacylglycerols. Coming to the cholesterol, it contains a nucleus or ring. cyclopentane per hydrophenanthrin ring or nucleus. Cholesterol proper is a 27 carbon compound. 27 carbon compound. Cholesterol is exclusively present or found in animals, is most abundant in animal sterols. Coming to the functions of cholesterol, it is one of the component of the cell membrane and lipoproteins. It is precursors of steroid hormones like estrogen, progesterone, sex hormones, bile acids, and vitamin D, that is vitamin, active form is vitamin D3. They act as electrical insulator and help in nerve conduction. And coming to the cell membrane, being a part of the cell membrane, it stabilizes the membrane fluidity. It stabilizes the membrane fluidity. Coming to the empipathic lipids, they are both polar and non-polar groups. They consist of phospholipids, glycolipids, free cholesterol and free fatty acids. They are partially soluble in water. In the figure you can appreciate hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tail. In the head region we have phosphate and glycerol. The tail region we have saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids. Micelle, it helps in the absorption of or facilitates bile salts in absorption of the lipid. And coming to the biological membranes, we have on the cell membrane glycolipids, that is also called as glycocalyx, that provides the antigenic property to the cell membrane. Phospholipid bilayer, integral protein, they act as channels or through which the biomolecules can be transferred. Integral glycoproteins, so these integral protein, they pass across the cell membrane, helps in the transport of the ions, helps in the transport of the ions, whereas peripheral protein, they act as the receptor proper. Liposomes, coming to the liposomes, these are basically empipathic lipids. They are formed after sonication in aqueous medium. The important functions of liposomes is they act as drug carrier and they help in the transfer of gene of interest. Here, what happens? By using liposomes, we can deliver a drug to the specific tissue, that is known as targeted drug delivery. Targeted drug delivery means using the liposomes, the drug is inserted inside the liposomes, and these liposomes, they get dissolved at the site where they are required. Means this in turn increases the bioavailability of the drug at the point where it is required. Because most of the drugs whatever we take, they get dissolved in the stomach itself because of the HCl. But using these liposomes, we can deliver the drugs to the site wherever we require. That is known as targeted drug delivery system, which you will learn better way in second year subject, that is pharmacology. And coming to the gene transfer, these liposomes, they act as vectors or transfer media, where the gene of interest or part of that is DNA is inserted into the liposomes, and they are also delivered to the particular site where they are required. Till today, we have succeeded in treating the adenosine deaminase deficiency disease through the uh, gene transfer, that is adenosine deaminase deficiency disease is treated, and the rest of the like cystic fibrosis, hypercholesterolemia, they are under practical at various level. But for adenosine deaminase deficiency, definitely we have the treatment. Coming to the importance of the epiphytic lipids, they act as liposomes, helping the carrying of drugs and uh, gene of interest. In the form of micelles, they help in the transport of lipids, and at the lower end we can see bilayer lipid layer. On both sides we have phospholipids. So this gives an important shape and stability to the plasma membrane. At the same time, they help in the transport of various molecules and ions across their surface. And coming to the lipids, composition of the means contribution of the various lipids in the membrane. Those are mainly phospholipids, glycolipids, and steroid. Coming to the phospholipids, we have phosphoglycerides, sphingophospholipids. Coming to the phosphoglycerides, we have phosphatidylcholine, that is lecithin, phosphatidylethanolamine, cephalin, phosphatidylserine, phosphatidylthreonine, phosphatidylglycerol, phosphatidylinositol, diphosphatidylglycerol, that is cardiolipin. And coming to the sphingophospholipids, we have sphingomyelin. And glycolipids, we have cerebrosides, sulfatides, and gangliosides. And steroids, we have cholesterol and stigmasterol. These all that is phospholipids, glycolipids and steroids. They provide shape to the cell membrane and they carry their functions like they may help in the transport of biomolecules and other chemicals, and they help in the maintenance of the stability of the cell membranes. So many functions they are carried out by the cell membrane. So the functions of the membrane lipids and contribution that is given by the lipids in the function and structural integrity of the cell membrane is of immense importance, and the contribution by the lipid is more. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The purpose of taking today's class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just I want to provide you with the overview of the lipid chemistry. Lipid chemistry. Stay home, stay safe, wear mask, and whenever you are coming outside, try to maintain social distance. And also, my sincere suggestion, you purchase the pulse oximeter. Pulse oximeter, at the home, it is available in the market. You purchase, try to measure the partial pressure of the oxygen every 6 hourly. It should not be below 95. It should not be below 95. So be careful. Use hand sanitizer as an emergency this thing, but still the preferred one is hand wash with the soaps. Hand wash with the soaps. So purchase a pulse oximeter also. It hardly costs about 500 to 750 rupees or something. And if you more number of people are there in your home, purchase each one. It is better to have each one person a separate pulse oximeter. Pulse oximeter. Take care of your health. Good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟೆಡ್ ಓಕೆ ಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಸರ್
Thank you.
ಹಾಂ ಸರ್